We're outside in the park again. We're not sitting on the grass this time.
Damn!
Well, I did sit on the grass and then flies started to flock around me and I thought no.
Check, please.
So since it is Superman week, I thought we should talk about Lex Luthor. I've been seeing a lot of reviews lately for the movie, and everyone's saying if you really enjoyed the serious tone of The Man of Steel, then you might not appreciate the softer tone of this movie, and you might not enjoy some aspects of the movie or some silly aspects of the movie. I've heard a lot of people have said there's some silly parts of the movie that might irritate you if you're not careful. So I'm bracing myself for that one. But the moment I saw I think it's the final trailer where Lex Luthor was talking to Superman, I think, during the monologue, saying he's going to kill his parents and whoever is connected to is going to find him and kill them, and then the reporter he's always talking to, Lois Lane, is going to kill her too, or whatever. I was like, nah, that's not my Lex Luthor.
Here we go.
I'm beginning to feel or think that this iteration of Lex Luthor will be the second Lex Luthor in live action that I don't like.
What?
Out of all the Lex Luthors I've watched, from TV to movies to animation, the two that I enjoy is the Smallville one and the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited one.
Nice.
And the other ones, maybe that's probably like feature-length animation movies. But in terms of the ones that stick out to my mind, that I feel I really enjoyed their version of Lex Luthor, definitely the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animation, and Smallville Lex Luthor. And then third place would be the original Clark and Lewis Lex Luthor. He was okay. I think because of how Henry Cavill looked in the Man of Steel movies, I felt they should have casted someone as mature as Henry Cavill for Lex Luthor. I don't know if, I can't remember his name, the actor who played Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman. I don't know if it was the same age as Henry Cavill.
Are you serious?
But even the fact that Ben Affleck matched the same age as Henry Cavill. So in real life, they're probably, 2, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years apart? Who knows? Maybe Henry is younger than Ben Affleck, and maybe the guy who played Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman is like 5 years or 10 years younger. What I'm trying to say is at least you can look at Ben Affleck's Batman and Man of Steel's Batman, Henry Cavill's Batman, and you can buy that, yes, they're both playing these older superheroes. So the arch nemesis, which is Lex Luthor to Henry Cavill, for some of us, we would like to, feel that he looks like Henry. Oh, these flies, man. If it's not ants, it's flies.
Damn, son.
You'd like to feel like he looks the part. He looks like he's someone who's old enough to rival Superman. Same thing with the Joker. You want to look like you want the character to feel and look like he's old enough to rival Batman. But the actor that they chose for Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman is the worst casting I've seen in a long time, especially in a superhero movie, especially for for someone who's playing the character like Lex Luthor. All that that jumpy thing he was doing, and then when he fed someone the gummy bear or gumberry or sweet, oh, that's the worst part. Out of many worst parts, but that part was just atrocious, man. So I can tell already that I don't think I'm going to enjoy James Gunn's version of Lex Luthor, and that's okay, because I've still got Man of Steel to always go back and watch.
Nice.
Another Lex Luthor I don't like is the Lex Luthor from the Christopher Reeve version of Superman.
Damn! And
the Lex Luthor from Brandon Roth's Superman. Those two, my goodness. I can let Christopher Reeve Lex Luthor slide because, that's nostalgia. And that was, in that time, in that era, that time period, they did a very good job bringing Superman to life in a movie like that. And that still holds up well. You can still watch that movie from beginning to end and still enjoy it. But over the years, especially after you've seen so much cartoons and so many different versions and iterations of Lex Luthor, and how smart he's been depicted and how cunning he's been depicted, and how he devises plans to take down the Justice League. I recently watched Superman Returns, and I enjoyed the parts where Superman was doing his thing. The parts I didn't enjoy was when he had to go and lift up this whole land of kryptonite mixed with, formations from Krypton based on the crystals that Lex Luthor used. And those are things I find boring as well.
He ain't lying.
The eventual break-in of the Fortress of Solitude by Lex Luthor. I was always hoping that they would never have to do that in live action. But obviously this film is going to do it with James Gunn's Superman. They're obviously going to do it, so I hope there's an intelligent way that it turns out. And the way Superman is depicted in this movie, it makes sense because he'd be busy doing other things and he's young, so he seems to be shown as a character who necessarily wouldn't be paranoid. I think if I was Superman in this world, I'd be very paranoid about Lex Luthor. I'd be very mindful about his actions because his intentions towards me aren't kind or loving or positive. So I'd be very, very vigilant when it comes to Lex Luthor. So I'll just be thinking he's probably spying on me right now with a satellite and all these things. So I'd have to, be on my A game.
That's right.
So I hope in this movie it makes sense as to how Lex Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude. As in when we see it, we can be like, okay, that makes sense, that it worked. I don't even know if Lex Luthor is going to get to put on his kryptonite suit against Superman in this movie or in a future movie. Or I don't even know if they're going to make the public aware of Lex Luthor's shenanigans in this movie, and then does he get imprisoned, or does he what happens? Does he lose his position, his job, his role, or does he? I'm trying to figure out if they're going to make him a one-off problem, or does he become a problem in future movies as well? Because I want to see Lex Luthor be like Superman's like the Joker to Superman, like being an ongoing threat, but not too much. Not too much. I don't want it to be like a persistent threat, just like in the background, bit by bit. Like also, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Superman's Rogues Gallery show up. Like I feel one of the strongest villains in Superman's Rogues Gallery is the Parasite. Yeah, Doomsday for sure, because of what Doomsday is designed to be. The more you beat him, the stronger he gets. But I feel that should be an end game thing, or you introduce Darkseid for Superman. But I don't even know if James Gunn wants to do most of the Rogues Gallery or most of Superman's Rogues Gallery in this iteration of Superman.
Aha!
But how do you step up the stakes though? How do you step up the threat that comes to Metropolis and comes to challenge Superman?
Nice.
I feel the three strongest threats to Superman out of all all the Rogues Gallery, all the Superman villains, I feel Brainiac, Parasite, and Darkseid are the strong. Wait, am I saying that right?
What does that mean?
Brainiac, Darkseid, Parasite, and Doomsday. I feel those four are serious business. Metallo is there, and then obviously I imagine there'll be some crossover villains that have taken on Superman and Batman. So you can, but I feel the four that can do serious damage to Superman.
Wait a minute.
If they're not put in check real quick, are definitely going to be Darkseid, Doomsday, Parasite, and Brainiac. I also don't think this Superman movie is going to be a bad movie. I think it's just going to be an okay movie. But after seeing Superman Returns this week, and I plan to rewatch Man of Steel again, but I think I'm going to hold off until I see the Superman movie, the James Gunn Superman movie, then watch Man of Steel, just so I can gauge the tone. 'Cause I already know how it feels, but I just want to watch the new one first and watch the previous one again, and then get that that sense of tone side by side. For example, some people really enjoy Michael Keaton's Batman compared to Ben Affleck's Batman, whereas I enjoyed Michael Keaton's Batman for nostalgia reasons, but as a whole package from beginning, middle to end, I really, really appreciate Christopher Nolan's Batman with Christian Bale. Now, if we're to replace Christian Bale's Batman and put Ben Affleck's Batman in that trilogy, I would also do that. In a alternate timeline or in a multiverse reality, parallel Earth, there's a version of Batman, or there's a trilogy of Batman directed by Christopher Nolan, and the actor was Ben Affleck. I would have loved to have seen Ben Affleck get his own trilogy.
He ain't lying.
And directed by Christopher Nolan, of course, because I've already seen what Zack Snyder chose to do with Ben Affleck's Batman. Because I've already seen that, I would like to see what Christopher Nolan would have been able to do with that raw, brutal version of Batman in a whole trilogy. But yes, anyway, peeps, I just thought I'd come in here outside in nature, talk a little bit about Lex Luthor, the ones I like and dislike. Since it's Superman week, I thought, why not? Why not sit here and record a little video about the Lex Luthors you like and dislike? So peeps, I have been your one and only Multipotentialite, Neurodivergent host, the Kosmic Jedi, signing out. Thank you for watching.